Welcome to the Downtime from WTWH Media with your hosts, Sarah Wynn and Sheri Kasprzak, bringing you everything you need to know from the week in manufacturing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Downtime. We are a weekly manufacturing podcast from WTWH Media. I'm Sarah Wynn, one half of the co-hosting team for this podcast and senior editor for Packaging OEM. Let me tag in my tag team partner for our season finale.
That's it. This is Sheri Kasprzak. I'm the executive editor of Automation and Controls over at WTWH Media. And if you don't know, that is plant engineering, control engineering, and consulting specifying engineer, back with another episode of the Downtime, and it is the last one of 2025, my friend. We did it.
We have earned some downtime.
We have earned
Sheri.
some downtime. We have.
We are so excited to be back with another episode. This one is very similar to last week's structure. Sheri and I will recap 2025, including launching this podcast, where we plan to take it in 2026, and when you can hear our season premiere for season 2.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
Well, I can just get it off my chest. Season 2 of The Downtime will premiere Thursday, January 8th, 2026, and will feature my interview with Christine Bush, Snyder Electric's Director of Robotic Center of Excellence, that we filmed in Las Vegas, Sheri. Very exciting news.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. Your trip to Vegas was very productive, to say the least. So really looking forward to that interview on the 8th of January when we commence our season 2 premiere. Love this.
Season 2 vibes. Ooh.
Season 2 vibes in the house. Season 2 is going to be one of those rare season 2s that's actually better than the first season. Guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteed. All right. Well, Sheri, we can get back into our combo we had last week. I know we talked about the spring. We talked about Pack Expo Southeast. We talked about ProMat. Where do you want to pick up today?
You know, why don't we do our standard fit check first? Like, tell me about the hat. Tell me about the fit.
Sure.
We got to look at the fit. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I just jumped too
No.
quick. It was a
Okay.
false start, penalty on the play.
That's okay.
My hat, no hat has been worn more on the Downtime than this one right here. This is a special Ohio State hat. I bought this at the Cleveland airport. Sheri approved it. I'm wearing this because we are going into the college football playoff. A lot will happen while we are gone having downtime, the Downtime hosts having their own downtime. So I'm wearing this hat. We wore it on the show several times. I did. We beat Penn State. We beat that team up north. So go Bucks. That's my fit. What about you?
Guys. So today, you know, I'm wearing my, I don't know if you can see it, my Brown University sweatshirt in honor of the horrible events that happened in my city, in Providence, December 13th. It's been a really, just a devastating time for folks here in Providence. So just, you know, for the memory of the people who were involved in that horrible action on the 13th. So just wanted to send some love to the Brown University community and let them know that we got their backs and we are Providence.
I appreciate you sharing that, Sheri. Yes, you were off. We were definitely in my thoughts all weekend. We were recording this on Monday the 15th. So I appreciate you, Sheri, for sharing that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just such a tragedy. So on to happier things. Let's talk about, you know, I think how we kind of built out this podcast. I mean, this was definitely new for 2025. This is something that, you know, you and I kind of cooked up together. And I always say that this podcast is a lot like flying a plane and then building it as we're in the air. And it's been exactly like that. I think we both wanted to have, you know, something that's a little different, a little less, not necessarily less technical, but something that's more conversational. Like what is going on in engineering and manufacturing in a playful way that is more of a conversation than, you know, a how-to. You know, it's more like, what do you need to know to do the best you can in your manufacturing and engineering work? So
Yeah, definitely. I think one of our favorite things, I shouldn't speak for both of us, one of mine, I think Sherry will agree with this, is the humans element, sharing the human perspective, how they are putting solutions together. And a great example we talked about last week was Stacey Haramoto's RFID token consolidation demo, hearing how she created that and then ultimately brought it to the show floor, which is where we met her. So yeah, launching, there's several things I'm very proud of from 2025, Sherry, and one of the biggest is this podcast and launching it with you. Very grateful for you.
Me too. I'm grateful for you too. And yeah, I love the storytelling. I think that there are so many stories for why people go into certain engineering, specialties, and why they choose the path that they do, and how it ties into manufacturing as a whole. Like, we are multitudes, and it's like this sort of like intricate mosaic that kind of puts all of the pieces together. And I love hearing people's stories like, hey, why did you decide to get into robotics, for example? And what is it about like sensors that really, spoke to you, and why do you do what you do? Because I mean, none of us are our jobs, but you spend so much of your life doing something. It's really interesting to get the why behind it sometimes. And I think that a lot of that is lost in more technical content, because we can understand the how something works, and what the schematics are, but why did you want to do that? So that's what I really love about this podcast, is that it puts a human element to very technical topics.
Definitely. I will agree with that. And I will say, and anyone listening here, you would like to be on the downtime, reach out to Sherry or myself. We are in the process of booking guests for 2026. We'd love to hear your story. What about that, Sherry? What do you think?
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. You can connect with us in a variety of ways over LinkedIn. Go follow us on LinkedIn. We are just the Downtime. Follow us on Instagram at the.downtime. You can reach out to us via email. I think we have our own email now, right, Sarah? We have the downtime
We
at
do.
www.media.com. Yes.
We'll
So
say it one more time for the people in the back.
the downtime at wtwhmedia.com. Love it. So yeah, send us an email. Find us over on LinkedIn, on Instagram. We would love to hear from you. If you have an idea for a show, let us know. We're always open to new ideas, and we're always open to chatting about what makes you so passionate about what you do.
For sure. The downtime for life. That's a pro wrestling reference right there.
Well,
All
I
right.
think our new tagline, you came up with it, is from PLCs to PSLs. I mean, you don't know what we're going to talk about here. It could be anything. So I love that.
I'm happy I came up with it, but I wish I had it about 3 months ago.
I know.
So it'll work. But yeah. So from programmable logic controllers to pumpkin spice lattes, you will hear all of that and everything in between on each episode of The Downtime. New episodes drop every Thursday on
That's right.
Packaging OEM's website and Plant Engineering's website. So let's get into it, Sherry. Where should we pick up?
I mean, I think the last time we spoke, we were, just talking about travel for, really the first part of 2025. I think that, you know, developing the podcast itself kind of grew out of our travels together, and it was like, oh wow, you're a talker, I'm a talker, we both like to talk, let's talk shop. And so I think the next thing, when we got back from it may have been either ProMat or our Pack Expo Southeast, I don't remember which one, but it was one of them. It was like early in 2025. I'm like, so I think I have our logo down, when do you want to record? And it was just like, okay, well, do we have to get permission? So we got permission, and it was just like, I think within 2 weeks we were recording our first episode. So,
Oh,
I think it was that fast where we were just like, okay, well, let's just do it. I have some interviews we can throw in there. Let's go for it. So I think, we have very much been like, let's just keep trying new things and see what works, find out what works really well for us, and just go with it. So that's kind of been the formula for the podcast.
Sherry, we pitched this like on a Wednesday, and literally the next week, like
Yeah.
8 days, 7 days later, the first episode came out. Like it was a very quick turnaround. The show is weekly. We record it weekly. It's not pre-canned, or it. It's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Our first episode came out April 25th. So this episode right now is episode 34. So we will finish season 1, 34 episodes. I mentioned season 2 will premiere January 8th, 2026. To be determined how many episodes we'll have for the year. But we plan on doing a weekly cadence. But yes, the podcast initially came from like a Slack message. Sheri, we talked about it. We talked on Zoom about it. And then Sheri came up with a bunch of different names. And I don't know if this has ever been addressed, the names that the show could have been. But the one that always comes to my mind is Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild. I felt like that was so catchy and funny, but it really depends on your sense of humor. And I don't know. I think you were probably wise in just saying, let's call it the Downtime, because I don't know that it'll get past corporate. But Girls Gone Wild was by far my favorite.
I mean, it's so catchy. It still lives in my brain rent free. But yeah, Girls Gone Wild was up. She sent, I don't have the list in front of me, but Sheri sent an abundance of names, abundance of logo ideas, and I just said I think the Downtime is it. It hits everything we want, and opens up new avenues too to explore. So yeah, that was how the podcast was launched. It was a very quick turnaround, and so the fit checks came later. Those didn't always exist.
Yeah, you know what? Like, even before the fit checks, like one of my favorite things about the podcast, because like, I don't know, I'm like, I have to have some sort of creative outlet, and doing the thumbnails has been the most fun for me, because it's like you have to come up with something that's kind of on theme, like what are we going to do that is also just ridiculous to look at. And some of the funniest ones, I think, I just want to kind of run down some of our past ones and like what are our most favorite, like our favorite thumbnails of 2025. I love the Shark one, the Shark Week one, which was yours. Like you pitched the Shark Week idea, which was so brilliant, and I loved it. The Shark one was one of my favorites. What are some of your favorites?
The one that really sticks out in my mind is the sound of sustainability. And I thought of that when I was sitting at Bob Evans with one of our colleagues, and we needed an idea, and I don't know why I went to Sound of Music, because I don't like that movie at all. I was forced to watch it in grade school constantly, and I just don't like it. But I love that one. Stephanie Neal was interviewed for that. That's our boss, the GOAT. It's just so us. Sheri's like, it's the mountains. Sheri's like circling around, running around. I'm just drinking a Powerade, because we talked about Powerade or sport drink containers on that episode. I like that one. But we've done plays on pop culture. We did a Toy Story theme with the grip.
That was really fun. Loved that one.
Material Girls was cute.
Material
That one was
Girls
cute.
Very cute. I love that. Yeah.
The Halloween zombie running away.
That one was really fun too. Yeah, a lot of them are just fun. And that wasn't always planned. Like, I don't think I even like started like putting together thumbnails until like maybe episode 6. It took us like 6 or 7 episodes before I was like, hey, like maybe we should do something like visually fun, like especially for the YouTube channel, like,
Right.
let's do something that people are going to be like, what is this?
Do you know which one was the first? Because I do.
One I think was the coffee, like the
Yes.
coffee one, yeah.
Yes.
And I was playing around with it, and I think they've gotten much better. I will say, like, I think I've gotten better at it, like just putting together like an image that like looks cohesive and fun. So yeah, and doing things with our faces that are like really comical, like the Labubu's, for example. Like,
Yes,
the Labubu's were hilarious.
I told my friend about that one, and she's like, Sarah, you two think of the strangest things. I said, yeah, just put us in a Zoom together, and you never know what you're going to get. I think one of the quotes, too, is like, the Downtime's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
You never do.
Yeah. I mean, we were even in a Lunchable container at one point over the summer. We were on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. At this point, there's dozens of these thumbnails now. So we have a lot. We were in a rocket ship too. We were in a rocket ship. We have big shoes to fill in season 2.
We do. We got to come up with some really fun ideas. And, you know, if you haven't seen all of our thumbnails, I think they're really hilarious. You can find them pretty much All of them are on our LinkedIn. You can also go over to our YouTube channel. And hey, give us a subscribe while you're there. Like some of our videos if you would be so kind. But yeah, you can see all of the thumbnails either at LinkedIn or on our YouTube channel. So let us know which one is your favorite.
Definitely. And we should probably get a little video of them all together. We could probably
We
do that.
should. Let's
We can
put
do that.
together like either we could do something like, a slideshow or just put a video together.
I would like a PowerPoint presentation of Sheri and saying, we thought of this from this and this. Oh, that was a Three's Company reference. Yes, yes, yes.
Exactly. Oh, should I it be like the slideshow where I'm like telling everybody where we went on vacation and no one wants to really hear about it?
Oh, well, you can.
To lovely downtown East Providence.
Well, I was in I don't mean to brag. I was in downtown Cleveland a few days ago. I wasn't on vacation, but
Wow.
yeah, no, I think we can definitely put something together, show off our little crazy thumbnails, very hashtag kooky. Kooky was a big word this year. I wonder how many times I've said downtime this year. I wonder how many times I said packaging OEM. I wonder how many times I've said kooky, probably about 1 million for each. But yeah, the podcast has evolved week after week. We are constantly testing things. We've tested length of episodes. We at one point we had multiple interviews. Now we focus primarily on one, and there's some back and forth. And I think we've really developed quite a good chemistry, if I will say so myself.
I think you're right. I think, well, I mean, I think we were just like friends like that. And it was like, oh yeah, we definitely have a vibe and we bounce off of each other. So it's definitely got that energy. And I think that's, I've heard from a lot of people who are just like, the energy is good. And that's what I love about this podcast is that, hey, it's something that gets you excited about these topics. And I think that that's a really important thing. We are dealing with, I don't know, I'm going to go off on my classic rant about the skill shortage in this industry. And, I want to get people excited about manufacturing. I want to get people excited about engineering topics. And I think the way to do that is to make it fun. Because if you just come in dry and boring, I don't know that that's going to resonate very well with people. And people need technical stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like the technical aspects are super important, but, let's make it fun. So
I don't think boring is really in our vocabulary, Sheri.
definitely not. No, absolutely not. Yep. So, that's a little bit of the history of the Downtime podcast, and we are in the planning stages for a great season 2. I'm excited about it. I think we're going to have a lot of really interesting conversations. Like, what are some of the trends on the packaging side that you think are going to be, kind of at the forefront in 2026?
Well, AI. Everyone is talking about AI. The Schneider podcast premiere will have a bit about AI, a bit about digital twins. The other thing that's a big topic, and this was our most viewed story for all of 2025, is Sunrise 2027. So that is the industry's date to transition to 2D barcodes at point of sale systems. I have a conversation coming up with GS1 US. They are the organization that sets the standards for barcodes. That will be very interesting. Yes, so that one's up there. Flexible packaging continues to evolve. The story I'm working on with that Schneider content, we talk about vision systems for flexible packaging, how difficult it is because it might look like a rectangle from above and there could be a bowling ball in there. So those are some big topics and trends I'm looking for going into the year. I know machinery, obviously compact footprint. That's another one that comes up quite a bit. But what about you, Sheri? What are you hearing? What's the word on the street for plant engineering?
I mean, automation is always a huge thing with for plant engineering. I mean, that's something that I think is going to be a topic that is top of mind for a long time to come. And I think a lot of it is along the lines of adoption and what companies are going to adopt, more automation and what is kind of the effect of not, adopting automation and to what level. I mean, I think there are different levels of automation and we can talk about like fully automated lines, but, at what level is each individual manufacturer comfortable with automating? And I think that's going to be, a big topic and how it impacts how workers interact with that automation. I think that another trend that's probably going to continue is, the labor shortage in manufacturing and how automation dovetails into that. When you can't find workers to do specific tasks, I think that's when you have to be innovative with automation. How are you going to fill those roles? How are you going to, continue to produce when you may not have enough people on a particular shift? Are you going to have to bring in automation? Like, what looks the best for you in terms of, financing those things? Are you going to have to rent equipment? Are you going to have to make that capital investment? So I think there are a lot of topics that a lot of manufacturers are thinking of along the lines of automation that aren't just about the automation itself. It's a lot of stuff. And it's not just what sort of new technologies are coming through. It's sort of the economic side of it.
Yeah, and leveraging the tech. I know there's an OEM I spoke to recently that is using AI to have operators just chat with the machines.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, I wonder what my computer would say to me. Like, stop using hashtags. Stop. Yeah, so those are some of the trends. It's going to be an exciting year. We focused a lot. Obviously, this podcast comes in video, but we focused a lot on video content, not just this podcast, but at shows too. And that's something I really want to expand and continue to grow into the new year.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, there's so many visual components, especially when we're at live shows, when we're talking to someone, when we're like looking at, a demonstration. Those things are always so fun for me. I know, like, next year, I'm in particular really looking forward to the Robotics Summit. And I think we actually have a date. I don't want to be the one to announce it, but it's going to be in May, in Boston. Hopefully, Sarah, you can join me on the show floor. We can be talking to people and, maybe even record an entire Downtime episode live from the Robotics Summit. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So if you don't know about the Robotics Summit and Expo, it's every year in Boston. You can find out more about the Robotics Summit at the Robot Report. And I'm sure we'll have Jean and Steve on at some point. I know and Mike. I just spoke to Jean last week, and we were kind of like game planning what we might talk about and when. So stay tuned. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to in 2025 is to interview the folks over at the Robot Report for some details on the Robotics Summit and Expo. So stay tuned.
I was just going to say, if we are recording in Boston, we could drink tea while we record, and it could be called the Boston Tea Party.
Now you're thinking ahead. Now you're thinking about those amazing thumbnails that we're going to put together. So
that's the first thing I thought of. And shout out to Brianna too. She's on the robot team as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, oh, Sheri loves tea, Boston. I've never been to Boston. Just putting it out there. Would love to go next year. We'll see if it happens. I do have some other shows I'm looking at, probably PAC Expo East. That's in Philadelphia in February. That will probably be the first show I'll attend in the new year. I do have some site visits, though, Sheri, that I'm working on in Northeast Ohio. I love sharing the Buckeye innovations.
I know, and you were doing the Summer of Winning tour last year, or this past year in 2025. Is there going to be a Summer of Winning tour 2026?
I think I got to think of something brand new.
Okay, so we're not bringing it back. We're just going to do something different. I love that.
It'd probably be maybe like the Winning Content Global Tour, or just make it a global tour. How about that? I did get a passport in 2025, so I can leave the country.
So yeah, I think that, we've got a lot of activities coming up in 2026. I'm excited to do more traveling. Hopefully we can go do a show together, Sarah, because that's always fun. So fingers crossed.
It's been like almost a year since we were in the same room together.
I know. We got to record a podcast live. That's my next goal, is like a live podcast, like in person. So we got to find a studio.
Yes, I was fortunate. I did a few podcast interviews in person this year, and it is both are great, virtual and in person. They're different. They're literally different vibes because you're feeling the emotions coming off of the person you're interviewing. So imagine Sheri and I in the same room together. If this is how we are on Zoom, oh my gosh, it'd be like a bouncing ball.
It would definitely be a party for sure. So excited for that.
Yes, and some of the other shows I went to this year, I'll just recap quickly. All of these photo galleries are up on Packaging OEM's website. I talked about Pack Expo Southeast and ProMat last week. Automate was another show. Automate was a very interesting experience. I'll leave it at that. Got a lot of great content. There's a story about MK North America, material handling. They are also in our ebook on material handling. Those are available now. And then I went to Pack Expo Las Vegas. Another photo galleries up on Packaging OEM's website, along with the 3 trends from the event. That was a nice little news package I put together. And then I was fortunate enough to be invited to Schneider Electric's Innovation Summit. I also attended an event with them in Houston. So it was over 12,000 miles were logged on the little Wynn van this year. Hoping for safe travels going into 2026.
Here's hoping. Yeah. So I think, Sarah, this is bringing us to another game time. You want to do like something like holiday related? Are we doing New Year's resolutions this year? Do we have a holiday gift wish list?
Whoa. We got to start now with the holiday gift wish list. Yeah. I think Sheri's got something she wants to say.
Ooh, okay, yeah. The only thing that's on my gift wish list, which I'm not getting, but hey, a girl can dream, is an Audi A6 convertible. I want a white one with like tan interior. So if someone could
That's it.
that's it.
That's it. Just end it here.
Park it out front. Now.
Do I have something on my Christmas wish list? Not as extravagant as Sheri's. Not as extravagant as Sheri's, I'll say that. Peace and blessings and happiness in the new year, and wellness and health in the new year. That's what I would like.
Yours is so sweet and loving, and mine is like, give me a car. Give me a very expensive luxury car.
I'll take an Alfa Romero SUV too, the green one. That's the one I'd want.
Yeah.
If we're talking cars, that's the one I want. I gotta be realistic. We have half a foot of snow outside. I'm not going to be driving around in an Audi convertible here at this time of year. So,
well, I mean, I live in the ocean state, so you got to have something beachy. Like I go to the beach every summer. I want to go to the beach as often as I can, and you can't beat that convertible, the sea breeze in your hair, like the chill vibes, the sun on your face. You got to have a convertible.
I want an Ohio State Bowl victory. That's what I would
Yes. Like. Okay. Yes.
That's what I want.
Here's hoping. I'll put that on my wish list too. Hopefully we get it. What about resolutions? What are you hoping to like? Is there something that you want to change or like, I don't even know change. Like, I don't like that because I don't think you should change yourself. Like but goals, more goals. I think that would be the better word.
Yeah.
Because I hate resolution. I think it's like, it has this implication that you have to change yourself. And I don't like that because like, you're great as you are and you don't need to change. But do you have any goals for the next year?
We did an OEM profile this year on Morrison Container Handling Solutions. I would like to do more OEM profiles, putting that out into the world. And I am in the process of working. We haven't started the interviews, but of getting a few of those in the works for 2026. That, and I would love to do more application stories. We had a few this year that were really fun. We talked about Memphis Record Pressing last week, their partnership with Atlantic Packaging. That I have a standalone story on that in our application section on Packaging OEM's website. So I would say in terms of content, OEM profiles, research reports, and application stories. Yeah.
That's really cool. Cool. Yeah. I definitely want to do more interviews. I'd love to do more live interviews if I can, because I think that you get like that energy and there's like a great vibe when you can interview someone in person. And it's very much on the fly. It's like you have to think quick on your feet. And I think if you know me, I'm like, I like to fire things off and I like to be like kind of on the spot. I work best under pressure, Sarah.
Ooh, yeah. Well, when you work whenever you had and you and I both came from national newsrooms, when you cover breaking news, there's this whole adrenaline that you can't explain. So yeah, the pressure or deadline, I think, kind of imitates that, not necessarily duplicates, but yeah, I do agree with the pressure. I do agree with that. But we have some interesting research report topics coming up. I'm working on our next one about remote management. I have a few interviews I did with that. We're in the process of putting that together now. That will come out in early 2026. But yeah, I think most of my New Year's resolutions all relate to content. A few years ago, I made if I don't know if you're gonna be able to see her. There is, I don't think I can get her off the wall. Behind me, I've never shared this story, but behind me is a picture, here she is, of Terry Sullivan. Terry Sullivan is an anchor reporter at ABC6 Fox 28 Columbus, Ohio. Once upon a time, I had a New Year's resolution that I wanted to be half as cool as her, half as cool. I think I'm a fourth there. So if I can get to be half as cool as Terry next year, I would appreciate it. She hosts the Edgy Noon Show in Columbus, Ohio, and she is like the coolest person I've ever met.
Well,
So
I would just say, Tara, that I think that you are already like the coolest person. So, Sarah,
oh,
you're done. You're there.
well, I appreciate that, but in my mind, like I'm trying to get to Terry's level, and I know it doesn't happen overnight, and it's still an ongoing process. And make sure to tag you in this because you are an inspiration. I have been, still are, always will be. Appreciate you. So those, and if I could have another Christmas wish, I would get a fourth Shih Tzu, but I will be honest, and that is just not in the cards. I have a bit too much travel, and my babysitter for when I travel has limited. She's placed a limit on how many Shih Tzus I can have. It's probably for everyone's best.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work being a dog parent for sure.
Yes. Just on this episode alone, one of my dogs has interrupted production. So
I'm
yeah.
surprised it wasn't mine.
So that's kind of where I stand. Content rules everything around me. I'm always thinking about it. Content rules everything around me. Yep.
Content is everything for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I think this brings us to the end of another episode of the Downtime, my friend.
Well, before we get there, I would like to take a moment and thank those that have been on the show. Are you ready to do this?
For sure. Yeah.
So, in 2025, the Downtime launched. I mentioned at the top, we've had 34 episodes. We are a weekly manufacturing podcast from WTWH Media, representing packaging OEM and plant engineering. Over these last few months, we've had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of people. Several have lent their talents to the show, and we would like to just say thank you. So I will say we loved hearing your stories, and I will get started. Okay, Sheri?
Absolutely. Take it away.
All right out of the gate. Thank you, Vanek America's Stacey Haramoto, Schneider Electric's Ali Hajfraj and Rogella Odebrecht, Phallus Automation's Jordan Stroud, Columbus McKinnon's Bill Reese, JLS Automation's Gary Pickett.
And we've also got Emerson's Jonathan Mitchell, Arab Sushmitha, Sushi Sudhir, Boston Dynamics' Matt Melchano, Memphis Record Pressing's Brandon Sievers and Austin Burke, and Atlantic Packaging's Nick Ott.
Yes, and we have Morrison Container Handling Solutions, Mia Stevens and Dustin Lee, Linmont USA's Zarin Zafiro, Nygaard USA's Luke Ryan and Joey Suprick, and Hoosier Feeders, Ashley Davis and Matt Jones.
We've also got Webster Industries' Deb Anderson, Nord Drive Systems' Mark Arisman. We have Reliance Worldwide's Amber Fritz, Flexline Automation's Kathy Rennie, aka the Conveying Cougar.
And last but certainly not least, and we could say it together if you want, WTWH Media's Stephanie Neal and Patrick Lynch.
There we go.
Thank you for spending your downtime with the Downtime. We greatly appreciate hearing each and every one of your stories. We look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so grateful for all of our listeners, for everyone who follows us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and don't forget to follow us if you're not already. And thank you so much as always, and we will catch you in the next one, but not until 2026. Bye.
Next year.